Here we go, episode 3, House Rules. We talk the weekend that was, the opening weekend of college football. We talk the Huskers Thursday night, 1-0 against Cincinnati. And we also talk about the NFL upcoming and a weekly show with Pat McAfee. This is House Rules. Welcome back to House Rules. I just have to tell you, I have gotten text messages and calls all across the country, people I know saying, I need to hang with Cuz. I need a weekend in Philly with your boy Cuz, the one, the only, Anthony Gargano.
My man. Well,
what's up?
Listen, we'll have some fun. You know, we know where to take him to eat. I think that's
no doubt.
I think that's what it's about. All right, let's get to 1-0. Let's talk about Cincinnati for a moment, and just kind of when you look back at the game, what did you like?
Well, I like the fact we found a way to win the game. You know, I mean, it's the first Power 4 win to open a season at Nebraska since like 2004. And so, you know, when you play Power 4 football, you better expect the other team to come in and compete. And, you know, I love the fact that we were in that unbelievable environment, late night game. I mean, Andy Reid comes out, shakes everyone's hand, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the stars were out. And
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift was there. Travis Kelce was there. I mean, my daughter still not going to forgive me. I mean, we won the game, and she's mad because she didn't get a chance to meet. You know, I live at home with 2 Swifties, and they were unbelievably excited to see her on the jumbotron. But I thought that was really cool. Like you come to Nebraska to be in those environments, right? So we were in that environment, NFL stadium, amazing crowd, and hey, it was a great game that came down to the wire. So I was happy that we won a close game. That hasn't happened at Nebraska a lot. And our last 2 games, the bowl game and this game, were 1-score games that we found a way to win. And so defense, we held them 69 yards passing. Offense, you know, we didn't have any turnovers. So there were a lot of things that were good. And then, like any coach, there's things that make you upset. And you're like, all right, we got to get better this week. They had 200 yards rushing. Didn't love that. But to win the first game of the year always makes you feel like, all right, we had a good training camp.
Yeah, and Dylan, I thought Dylan played really well, made some really good throws. Yeah, I thought his decision-making was very good. How did you assess Dylan Raiola's performance?
I thought he was excellent. I mean, you know, again, no turnovers, 78% completion, something crazy like that. And he took what the defense gave him. I mean, Cincinnati comes in. They're one of those college 3-2 defenses, shell coverage, keep everything in front of them. Well, that's how we played at Baylor. It's a tough thing to go against. And Dylan was patient. You know, when he had a chance, he threw the fade for a touchdown to Isaiah. When he had a chance, he tried to push the ball down the field in the intermediate ranges. But I thought the biggest thing was he checked the ball down, he moved the chains with his feet, and he made all the right checks. And so early in the year, as the year goes on, you get better. Every team gets better. You evolve. But when your quarterback is making good decisions and being selfless, man, you're fired up.
Yeah, and you know what he talked about earlier, which is, all right, hey, I got to remember the game's 4 quarters. I got to remember not to play it all in the first quarter. That's what stood out. Like the fact that you learn how to win, that you become, and that's why winning a game like that, I thought matters.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a certain feeling you get when you have a lead and the other team comes back. And some teams, like, they get pissed off. They're like, all right, enough of this. And they go out and they end the game. Some teams go, oh no, here we go again. And you let the other team back in. And so we didn't go here, oh no, here we go again. Like they fought back, they made some plays, they adjusted. But we got the ball with 7 minutes and we ran off 5 minutes, got it down to 2 minutes left, punted the ball down inside the 10. They made some plays. The Sorsby, their quarterback, he's an excellent player. I mean, he's running around. I mean, he was dynamic. But Malcolm Hartzog, our safety, unfortunately gets a PI. And comes right back the next play, man, and goes up and takes the ball away in the end zone. And you love seeing that with a senior. And you love seeing that mindset, like that mental toughness. But that's why I feel good. It wasn't like he was like, oh, I can't believe, I got that call. Or he just went and played the next play, and something good happened. So that mindset, when you haven't won a ton, to have a winning mindset's hard. And guys like Dylan, guys like Malcolm, they're bringing that. It's not me, it's them. They're bringing that out in the rest of the team.
So what did you tell them? What did you tell the kids? And how do you use this one as the first, because you talk about stacking and building, and how do you use week 1, both from a positive and negative standpoint, to kind of reinforce the message?
Yeah, I showed him a clip of Dan Quinn. and get Dan Quinn at Washington talking about, hey, they come in on Monday, it's Tell the Truth Monday. And, that's an old Pete Carrollism, Dan Quinnism. And I use that. And so I wanted them to say, like, hey, guys, it's not, I stole this. It's not mine. But you want to come in and very unemotionally, right? Be like, all right, here's what we did well. Here's what we didn't do well. Don't listen to, like, what everyone else is saying. Just let the tape speak. Like, I told the players, like, you shouldn't even necessarily, like, even if I say something, your coach says something, the best critic is yourself. And so look at the tape. I asked everyone to grade themselves. Look at the things we're teaching. What worked, what didn't, what do we need to improve on? And, that to me, like, if you get all emotional, and I've done that in the past. You can't imagine that. I've done that in the past. And so what I'm hoping for, Cuz, is that we get better from week 1 to week 2. Anytime you play your first game, you're not playing against yourselves. You start to see, like, okay, this is what we're good at. Oh, maybe we're not as good at this. We need to fix this. So just coming in like an auto mechanic, man, looking under the hood and just saying, hey, what needs adjusted? Each player does that, and then you get better week 2.
Well, that's the difference when you look at the NFL. You have a preseason, right? Like, there's no preseason in college football. And what we all saw in week 1 was, the people that know the most about this sport got a lot of it wrong because you just don't know what to get.
Yeah. Well, I think you have the like, hey, so and so plays in FCS school, they score 5th. Okay, forget those ones.
Right.
Look at the Power 4 on Power 4 games, and some games are like ours. We're not ranked currently; they weren't ranked. But as the year goes on, we'll find out how good those two teams are. Right? We're going to find out. Then you watch a game like right before we played Boise, who's ranked 24th. And South Florida just rolls over Boise.
Yeah.
So no one knows who is going to be who this year to last year. One of the things I said today in my meeting was like, hey, we all have to remember, everybody has $20.5 million to spend on athletes and about 13 to 15 on football. So the days of like, hey, everyone leaves this school to go to this school because they have more NIL are over. Everybody has the money now. So that's a little different. So we're going to see different teams emerge. And then you watch like the ranked games. These high-powered offenses, and you're watching the game, it's 7-0 at halftime, or, ends up whatever it ended up. What was the final score of the Texas-Ohio State game? That was a defensive game.
Yeah,
that wasn't like
14-7.
14-7.
Yeah.
And Ohio State's in control for a long time. Now Texas comes back. Good teams are going to come back at the end of the game. And guess what? Texas is a good team. Ohio State's a good team. If you're at Ohio State right now, you got to love the way Julian Sayin played. Yeah. And so that to me is the reality of it, is how much better is Texas and Ohio State for playing in that game? How much better are we for having played a close game as we move forward? But it's going to take a couple weeks to sort out, hey, who's good, who's not, who plays who.
I'm just curious because so much, over the weekend was all about Arch Manning, right? And the spotlight's on this kid and does not play a great game. Like, what do you say to your own kids? Like, what do you say to a kid like that that's coming off of with all the hype and social media and all the noise that surrounds him?
Well, I think Arch Manning is going to be a great player. I think all it is just expectations. And it's expectations brought on him by outside people. Like, He engineered a comeback. They had a chance to get back in the game. He'll come back this week. He's got Steve Sarkisian, who's one of the best offensive minds there is. They've got a great defense. They got playmakers. They played the national champions, and he'll get better and better and better. He just has to play. He's played how many games? He's played 4 games. That was like the first pass he's thrown on an away game. And we're expecting him to come in. I always go back.
Defense, right?
They're pretty good. They did win a national championship.
Yeah.
Come on. But I just think it's like, hey, it's expectations, it's narratives, and I think Arch is as grounded as anyone, and I'm certain that he's just going to go back. He's going to practice this week. He'll get better and better and better and get comfortable because he's a great player. And I always go back to Peyton. And you listen to Peyton Manning talk about the pressure we put on young quarterbacks today. And you look at whatever it was, his second year. One of those years, he threw more touchdowns than interceptions. But we were way more patient with quarterbacks, however many years ago. And now it's like, if they don't come out right off the bat, because, there's going to be a Jalen Daniels. There's going to be some guys that get off to a hot start. But, some of these guys need some time. And I think it's the same in college. Like we played a freshman quarterback last year in Dillon. And I see him every week. He just gets better. And he just gets better. And he just gets better. I think, Arch, you're going to see some great things from him.
And we saw it all throughout week 1. which is defense is always ahead of offense at this point, just for the fact of getting in sync, right? Just for the idea of game environs, all that stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, you can, I think one of the things people don't talk about enough is just even the cadence and the snap count. Like you're playing, like I'm watching last night.
Yeah.
You're watching Miami, okay? And at the end of the game, when Notre Dame has to drop back and throw the football, they're in Miami. The crowd is loud, the snap count. It's just all these things that you try to simulate. And you ask, but in today's format, it's great that those guys played those games because they're all going to go back. Because Notre Dame has a great defense. The tailback's amazing. And the quarterback, for his first game, played like a winner. So they're going to be a good team. And that's real football. That's playoff football. And that's the benefit of those guys playing those games early.
So let's go over some of the happenings, too, because there was a fascinating story about what happened against Alabama and Florida State when Tommy Castellanos talked about Alabama not being the scary Bama, and that he said they couldn't stop me. And everybody thought he was nuts, and he turned out to be a prophet.
It's interesting. You watch him play last year at Boston College, and he plays against Florida State, and he's a dynamic player on the field. And we watched a lot of Tommy because he had been the quarterback early at BC, who we played in the bowl game. So he's a winner. He's a competitor. And you know what? Like I tell our guys, I'm old school. I'm Joe Paterno. I'm Tom Coughlin. I love the guys just to be really quiet in the media. But if you say it, you got to go back it up. And so I know those guys at Florida State. Evan Cooper, who's one of my old coaches, played for me. He's there. Terrence Knight, who worked for us, is there. Tony White, the defensive coordinator. You know that with the athletes they have there in Tony's mind, they're going to play great defense. You bring in Gus Malzahn on offense. So I think there's a lot of things there. I mean, Florida State, 2 years ago, they won a bunch of games, right? So they had the signal caller. He played really well. But to your point, I think sometimes today, these kids, they rally around someone who isn't afraid to speak up and say, hey, you know what? We're going to go do this. And they need someone to be the first believer, and maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, I sometimes I think it could be a good thing. I mean, going way back, Joe Namath, right? Like guys that taught, they could deliver something. I think it's kind of cool. You said rallying around, and I think that's exactly what it appeared to be.
I think it's best when it's your quarterback. The worst thing is when it's like, your second string, whatever says it, and it's just as viral, and you're like, come on, brother.
Oh, no, shut up.
Yeah, but, because to me, at the end of the day, when you lose a football game, 2 to 3 people take the most heat. The head football coach, deserved, the quarterback, and then sometimes the play caller. Everyone wants to call the plays. And what I love is when the quarterback says, you know what, I'm going to step up here. I'm going to take heat no matter what, but I'm going to step up for my guys, and they're going to hear it. Whether that's rallying guys at practice, whether that's saying what Tommy said. Our quarterback, Dylan, he goes to the media days and he says, hey, we want to compete in the Big Ten. We want to go the college football playoff. And I'm not backing down from that. That changes mindsets. That changes expectation levels. And so you just have to back it up. But your quarterback, he knows he has to back it up. And so that, to me, is what makes that unique. And that makes that interesting. And, again, I'm Dylan. If you're listening to this, I'm not saying to go say all that stuff, but I do think there's something too. There's a time and place for everything.
Yeah. All right. The other big story was LSU Clemson, right? That was another big matchup, and it was kind of a referendum. Clemson's interesting because Dabo said, "Look, we're not going to be in the portal. We're not going to go there. We want to build it from within," type of thing, and it almost became this referendum of Dabo's way against where the sport is headed. And I was just curious what your take on that game, because it was Klubnik against Nussmeier, and to your point, it came back to a defensive struggle.
Yeah, and I think if you're LSU, you got to be really excited about the fact that how well your defense played, right? I mean, if you go back to the last couple of years, it's LSU's defense is back at the level that I'm sure Coach Kelly wants, and they win an opener, which hasn't really happened in the last couple of years. And so, I think Brian Kelly is one of the best coaches in football. And so, and I think Clemson's a really good team. And you watch Clemson play in that game, and that's a game that went back and forth. You've got Klubnik, you know what he can do. He'll get better and better and better as the year goes on. You got to be fired up about Nussmeier. I mean, he handled pressure, he moved in the pocket, he played an excellent football game, and when you have a good defense, you have the skill that LSU always has, but then you have great quarterback play, then you have a chance to do special things, and then they won the game down the stretch. But those are two teams I'm sure are going to be in contention to get into the playoff, and that's the new college football, right? That loss doesn't hurt you. If anything, it just makes you a little bit better as you come down, in the committee's mind, and it makes you better as you kind of learn from it. So, and you know what? I think as the new rules are in effect, I think you'll see maybe less big portal additions, and most teams are going to win are going to recruit really well in high school, and then bring in key players. And so I think you'll see like a mixture in the future of how teams build themselves,
where it becomes almost like NFL free agency, where I know I need this piece, maybe a wide out or a defensive tackle, and I can go into the portal for that, but you're going to build it kind of homegrown. Yeah,
and I think, as players look at it, if you're in the NFL and you have a chance to sign a 2 or 3 year deal over a 1 year deal, maybe sometimes there's more upside with the 1 year deal, but there's also a lot more downside. So as guys have a chance to sign multi-year deals, now that we have true contracts and revenue sharing, I think you'll see more guys stay put because they want to sign, hey, you know what, I'm going to take a really good deal that's consistent, that I can be somewhere for 2 to 3 years, as opposed to always taking a 1 year prove it. 1 year prove it's, when they work out, but when they don't, it stinks for you. So I think you'll see a little bit more consistency maybe as we move forward. And I think teams will want to build. They'll want to build like you want to build through the draft. They'll want to build through recruiting.
This is opening week in the NFL. Cowboys and Eagles. And Micah Parsons gets traded. Blockbuster. What are you thinking, Coach?
Well, first of all, when I saw it, I was like, no way.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I saw it after the fact. I was like, are you kidding me? And obviously, I followed Mike a long time because, he's a Harrisburg guy. I'm a Central Pennsylvania guy. He went to Penn State. In baseball, they say a 5-tool player. Like, that's kind of what he is. He can do it all. And so, big fan of his. I just think until I got to the NFL and was in those meetings, you don't really realize the economic impact of everything. And so it's like you hate trading your best player, but it's the CD a huge deal. Right, you have a quarterback under contract. It's really hard to have like the highest paid defensive player and a super high paid offensive player. I know they just did the corner as well. So it's like it becomes hard to manage all that. So there's such a financial impact that isn't always about the player, but man, it's hard to give away. It's hard to give away a guy like Micah Parsons. Right. And to your point, like you're getting 2 first-round picks, and you're hoping that one of them ends up like Micah Parsons. And what's crazy is, as Micah plays well, there's a big difference between like the 8th pick in the draft and the 22nd pick in the draft.
There's always the Packers are going to be good.
Yes. So I love it for the Packers. I mean, they're a team that's going to play great defense. They're going to always be able to run the football, get good quarterback play from Jordan Love, and then they have a chance. And so to add a dynamic presence like Micah, I think it's a huge move for Green Bay. And, for Dallas, I mean, again, I think a lot of this comes down to finances, to economics, to decisions and priorities. But, man, I didn't see it coming, to be honest with you. People are always asking me, Coach, why don't you run the ball more or pass the ball more? Do you know anyone on the volleyball team who will sign my shirt? They also ask me where to get tickets for Husker games, which is why I want to give the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, a huge shout out. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. College football and the NFL are back. Major League playoffs are around the corner, and even the NBA isn't too far behind. You're going to want to come watch us play Michigan, Michigan State, USC, Iowa, Northwestern. Getting those tickets, you can find them on SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of Nebraska athletics. All Nebraska tickets on SeatGeek are authentic and secure. I love using SeatGeek. I jump on the app. Now, I'm a no concerts in the season guy, but Cody Johnson's coming to Lincoln. My daughter wants to see Tate McRae, Bailey Zimmerman, Jason Aldean. You get the idea. SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And of course, I have a code for you guys. You can use code RULE10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code RULE10. That's RHULE10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. One of the great things about being at the University of Nebraska is being around the best of the best. And when I think about the best athletes, I think of our next guest, the one, the only, Becca Allick. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
One of my favorite athletes. I didn't know anything about volleyball until I got to Nebraska. Like, we were North Carolina soccer, and I started showing up at, like, even youth volleyball matches. It's a serious thing here.
Oh, yeah.
So when did you start playing?
I had my first ever camp when I was 7, and I started playing competitive club when I was 11.
Any other sports?
Oh, yeah, basketball. Basketball was my first love.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to be the first woman in the NBA.
Becca's brother, Josiah, great basketball player here. I'd see him sometimes riding downtown with a mink coat on his bike. And
Yeah.
Could you beat him?
Oh, no. He told me I couldn't beat him even if he was in a wheelchair. So he's not wrong. He's got long reach.
What made you fall in love with volleyball?
Oh, my gosh, it was hard. I got really bored in basketball.
Okay.
It just came really natural. The handle of it all came pretty quick. I would argue that if I had goggles sooner, I probably would have never joined volleyball because my jump shot was always off, and now it makes sense why.
It was the goggles.
It was the goggles.
You were AVCA Player of the Week. You were the Player of the Match against Stanford. It seems like you're always at your best when your best is required.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of it just comes down to discipline. Jordan Larson, she's one of my favorite people, coaches. Just looking at the game through her eyes, like, it's just a moment, and yeah, you can appreciate it, but never make it bigger than what it is. At the end of the day, it's just the sport that you've been doing, you know, in places like this. And
I know football practice, right? We run into each other, we yell, we scream.
Right.
What is volleyball practice like? Is it competitive? Is it technical? Like, how do you operate in that world?
Oh yeah, I would say it's both. I really love how Danny's changed some things up with a few of the drills. Even when we're running through the opponent's lineup, we're keeping score. So, and depending on the drill, so say we're playing sixes and whoever wins the best, like 3 out of 5, you get to go put a point on the board.
Oh, really?
Just under your name. I want perfect reps every single time. And I would argue, like, yeah, I'm really good at blocking, and it's easy to get praise from my coaches and my teammates to be like, oh, that was such a good round, but it wasn't to my standard. And so I might come off as ornery and all of that, but like,
I come off that way too sometimes. I'm glad we have that.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta be. I mean, at the end of the day, if your standard is above everyone else's and they don't know that, like, you're gonna seem like such a, I can't curse. You're gonna seem like such an ass though.
Right.
But in your world, it's like, you know, that's not your standard. And so if it's not reaching your standard, that's the only opinion that matters.
How do you deal with, you know, social media, the pressure from the outside, positive, negative? How do you deal with all that stuff in today's society?
Honestly, like with the accolades and all, it's pretty new to me. I'm not really used to the recognition. So it feels good, but honestly, like, these people don't have any clue what they're talking about. I've been kicking butt like every year. I'm very appreciative that the accolades are showing up, but I don't do it for the accolades. I do it because I love the sport. I just have always wanted to find the best in the room, and like, I want to challenge them.
That's how I feel like when I go to media days. I see their coaches and I'm like, hey, good to see you. And in my mind, I'm like, I want to play this guy so
That's what I'm
bad.
saying, man. They will always know deep down in their heart that you beat them. And that will keep them up at night.
I love that.
Because the next time they see you, like, ah, damn. Because when the cameras go off, they know that they're not number one.
I love that. When you look into the future, not knowing what it'll be, but like, you know, just what are your hopes and dreams for what lies ahead?
Long-term goals, what I would love, I want to be a mom. I want to be married. So I would love that. I want to have as many kids as possible. I
have 2 that you can borrow anytime you want. Vivi, Leona, they will come hang out with you anytime.
That's awesome. I want to have one in the Olympics. So I want a gold medal representing the best country in the world. I actually want to own my own like construction business.
Really?
Yeah, I want to work more with like lower middle class and just rebuild homes because I understand what it's like.
And when you leave here and you talk to the people that were around you, like from the people in the cafeteria to the people in academics, like just the people who really know you.
Right.
What do you hope your legacy is leaving the University of Nebraska?
Oh gosh, that's a good question.
Thank you. That's a good question.
No, that one's really good. My overall legacy as an athlete, like, I want them just to be, like, I was described as like a warrior. Like, I wasn't in it for the accolade. Like, I purely loved to fight. I even told Danny, I'm like, I want to walk out of this season with a couple yellow cards. Like, I want to piss people off. Like, I am just so tired of playing nice. And I feel like there's this new era of female athletes where we don't apologize for being mean. And it's about freaking time, because volleyball, it's actually way more intense than people paint it out to be. Like, when you're actually going out it, you can tell when a hit in the face was on purpose. Like, this game is intense.
I love that.
You know?
My dad, when I had my daughter, and I had my second daughter, remember him telling me, he said, just remember, raise warriors, not princesses. And that's just what you just said. Like, I loved, in women's basketball a couple years ago, I loved watching Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and I loved even like the controversy sometimes around it, because it's like, we love that in men's sports, like why can't that be in women's sports? Well, I can't thank you enough for this time, but more importantly, I can't thank you for the example you set, for the courage you always show to speak your mind, to be who you are, and I think that's what we need. We need authentic people who leave a legacy, and I'll just tell you this, from me, you've left an impact on me and my family in your short time here, and our short time together here. I know you've been here longer than me, but I'm grateful you take the time to share this with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rhule.
Becca Allick, Olympian, winner, warrior. So no matter how hard I've tried, I just can't be a good golfer. Sometimes that's the curse of being a football coach, but today could be the day that we make some progress. I'm excited to introduce you guys to the one, the only Danny Woodhead. College football great, NFL great, now one of the best golfers, people that I know, and a Nebraska native. So excited to have Danny with us here today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely, brother.
Let's try to get a little bit better.
You know, my whole thing in football is always, let's just get like 1% better. If I get 1% better today,
you're gonna get 1% better. It's just, can we get better than 1% better? I want to go over the fairway, over the trees into the fairway to the right. We'll see if we can get something.
Wow.
Oh, that was so sliced, but pretty doable.
Yeah, if that's a slice, I don't even want to show you what mine is. So tell me about this golf. So
yeah,
this golf thing. So you get done playing.
Yep.
And had you been a golfer?
I think I was like 8 to 10 years old. My grandpa kind of introduced it to me. And then it was kind of just like an excuse to hang out with my dad and my brother. My dad was a high school coach, football, basketball, PE for elementary students. And I just like to compete. Anything, if we're playing cards, I would love to bury you. I would love to bury you if we're playing cards. I want to bury you here. Like, I know you're...
That's not saying very much right now.
No,
how many strokes am I getting?
But even say you were getting 18, I'm still trying to bury you, because if I'm going to do something, I want to win. Otherwise, like, what are we doing?
All those years on the Patriots.
Yeah.
You're the most competitive guy?
In the NFL, if you suck in year 5, you're not playing. It's cutthroat, but like...
I found that out, by the way, too.
Yes.
I found that out a different way.
but it was just like, so every day you have to learn that, like, you got to win every day. That's what kind of turned into golf, and now I'm trying to do it with golf.
Now that's a slice. Explain to me how you're not a former Husker. Explain to me like how you come out of North Platte, you set every record, and I can't sit here, we can't sit here and show you tape. How does that happen?
I guess I just wasn't good enough. And back then too, when you're not recruited by other teams, Nebraska thinks you'll just walk on.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of the thought. I never got offered to walk on, but if I did, I would have probably told them to kick rocks. Like, that just wasn't in my DNA.
Like, not coming to Nebraska, did that put a chip on your shoulder?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I didn't like Nebraska. But, like, that just wasn't the plan for me. Yeah. And like, I'm cool with that. What do you feel comfortable with? You're 220.
My putter? Oh, my putter.
Besides the putter.
I'm out at 7-iron and just get back and play?
I'd take a 7-iron. Right. Aim a little more left, just with your feet. There you go. Almost. Go nice and easy, and don't stand up. Just stay here. Stay here.
I'm not going to talk in your backswing, because obviously that could affect it.
If you talked in my backswing, I could care less.
Is that not what I'm doing? Am I not doing
I mean, that's really close to what you're doing.
I can't wait to watch this podcast to see exactly what I'm doing.
Oh.
So you're in training camp, and then you eventually you get cut, right?
Yeah. So first I tear my ACL that first year.
Oh, geez.
And I remember driving I missed my brother's wedding for it. I tear my ACL, and I remember talking to my wife, high school sweethearts. We had just gotten married. And she's at the wedding, or the wedding was the next day. And I was obviously angry. And she's like, well, let's take a step back. Like, you're heated in the moment. I was like, no. You don't get this. Like, I'm in the NFL. I'm a small little running back from Chadron State College. You don't get it. I was like, I'm done. Like they're just gonna give me an injury settlement and be gone. Well, they kept me. I actually do remember I'm in a patient room, and they're checking. I don't even know why they MRI'd it. They knew it was just eviscerated.
Right.
And it was a wild time. And I remember I was like, this sucks. I hate it. And I was praying, and I felt like God said, no, you're gonna play. And I was like, wait, you obviously don't know the NFL.
Right.
it was like you might have created like the earth and stuff, and bad on me for that. But like I was like, no, this is a whole new game. And he goes, no, you do your job. I'll take care of the rest. And I was like, probably knows something. I was just going to do everything I could. I ended up making the team next year on practice squad, getting elevated as a receiver 6 games in because they knew I knew the playbook, and I was Wes Welker one week, and ended up killing it against the first team defense.
Wow.
And then things just kind of took off weirdly.
Okay, this is the one.
This is the one.
This is the one. Oh, my word. Oh, my word.
It's all right.
Danny, this is going to get better.
It's going to get much better. That was
A
good.
little tempo there. See that?
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, that's
No, that's really good.
We're on the green!
Yeah,
So you dated your wife in high school?
dated my wife in high school.
That's amazing.
I haven't done what I want to do. I haven't in golf yet, and I feel like, and I've been able to experience some cool things. Like I heard the chatter, and I think it was the next year I ended up qualifying for the final stages of the U.S. Open.
Yeah. But not many people can do what you can do. Like most people, like they start hearing people and then they start to believe the noise. They start to get negative. They start to get anxious.
Oh,
But
for sure.
You're using it as motivation.
Oh, that is so bad.
I blame the simulator personally. I think we need to,
Oh, scoot it up a little. I've always just wanted to try to prove people wrong if they say I can't do stuff. That was a good swing.
There we go. Finally.
That was much better.
Loosened up. I have a no golfing during the season rule. So this isn't golfing. This is simulating.
Yeah, it is.
What are your goals in golf?
I want to compete at a high level in amateur golf. Like some people are like, are you trying to go pro? No, I'm not trying to go pro. I did the pro thing before, and it was amazing, but like their lifestyle's not great. I might be hitting a tree. We'll see. I just don't know if that's going to get out of the trees ever. I would love to play in national events, U.S. Amateur, U.S. Mid-Am.
When I first met you, you talked about like, hey, when you got done playing and how that competitive nature, like getting into golf,
Yes.
like almost like chipping. You're in the back chipping, like that competitive drive. If it doesn't go into golf, it has to go into something. Doesn't it?
So my wife, and this is one of the best things that ever happened, is she actually told me like, you need to start golfing, and I was like,
can she call Julie for me?
yeah.
Can she?
Well,
can she help me with this?
I was like, she goes, I love you, but like, this has always been my domain. And she said, well, how about during the week, you just are gone like during a work day? And I was like, is this like a trap game?
I don't know how you answer that.
I was like, yeah. And she said, honestly, when you haven't been doing golf or something, you're competing at home with me. And I was like, kind of makes sense, because we hadn't lived that life.
Yeah.
So golf became that for me. It was like, I need to get my competitive drive out, get home, I'm a much better dad, much better husband.
I love that. Julie has what she calls the re-entry period every July when I have some time off. And I come back and I'm like, I think they should do this, and I think Vivi should have to do this, and I think Leona, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. You haven't been here. No one wants your opinion. We love you. We love you to be a part of everything.
Yes.
But we don't need your opinion here.
That's so true.
If I talk to any of your teammates, what made you different? What makes people like you so different?
I hope they would say that obviously I was a hard worker, and I think more than anything that I did the little things.
Your high school career, and it could be your college career, or it could be you in the national football. Like one play that like defines who you were as a football player.
One, we were playing, I think, the Bills in New England. Tom's, he's he sees the play like sucks, so he's audibling. And he gives concept over here, concept over here. Usually with the concept over here, I'd run a read route out to the side, like a option or breakout only. And I was like, no, I can't do that. There's going to be someone there. And then I was like trying to think through. I was like, and it was like all on the fly. And I ended up running a sneak across the formation because I knew the routes that were coming, and I'm scoring a touchdown on it. And I remember Josh in film, he goes, we've never went over this. He goes, but Danny knew what to do because he knew the play. So I would say, yeah, I beat the guy pretty badly on the route, but I can't beat the guy if I don't know what to do. Those are things that took no athletic ability. I mean, it takes athletic ability eventually.
Right.
But those are game-changing plays that don't happen if you don't know the playbook, that don't happen if you don't have a relationship with the quarterback or like what they want. Yeah, you could say Super Bowl touchdown, cool, whatever. Like, I felt like
I wouldn't mind that one. I might have dropped that one just for the record. I might have that one.
But so I would say those are the plays that I'll look back and be like, that's kind of sick.
Danny Woodhead, competitor, baller, golfer. But now we're going to see if he's a teacher. Last shot of the day for me.
Oh, no. Get over it, get over it, get over it, get over it.
Not a teacher, but a great guy and a great football player, a great father, great husband, great friend. Go Big Red, Danny Woodhead.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Bro.
All right, it's time now for anything but football, and this is where we get Coach talking about the world. All right, because you're a worldly man. You have a lot of knowledge to impart. All right.
Okay. I love it.
So let's go. We have a lot of people, a lot of chatter talking about the books on your desk. In fact, we had somebody looking at trying to use ChatGPT to figure out the books, man. So tell us about the books on your desk.
All right, let's go through here. So, okay, Bill Polian, Super Bowl blueprints. Bill's son Brian, a good friend of mine, and I've got to know Coach, and so I listened to him speak a couple years ago, and I went and bought his book, Hagakure, but Bushido Code about samurai. Every morning, the samurai woke up and dreamed of his own death, so he wasn't afraid of it. My boy John Gordon, episode 1. So I was going to have some John Gordon, some positive energy. The man. Have you ever read Tim Grover?
Yes.
He was Michael Jordan's strength coach, Kobe, Dwayne Wade. So Relentless was his first book. This book right here, one of my favorite books. Talk about like, I'm a parent, I'm a coach. You got to read Winning by Tim Grover. J.C. Horn, one of the toughest players I ever coached. When he told me this was his favorite book, I was like, all right, I love this guy. Episode 2, Ben Newman, The Standard over Feelings. And then, let me see over here. All right, so here, some of Ryan Holiday's books. Ego is the Enemy's not here, but then Right Thing Right Now, Discipline is Destiny, The Obstacle is the Way, another one's not here. And then, I'll tell you what, this is one of my favorite books. A Man Who Gets Down on His Knees Has Forgotten How to Die. Courage is Calling. Ryan Holiday, stoic. If you've never read Legacy and you're a sports fan, you're crazy. It's the All Blacks and how the All Blacks reconnected back into the principles that made them great to once again became great. So they were like a team that was dominant, and then they just kind of were going through the motions. They reconnected back into everything in their culture and in their history to make them great. So Legacy, something that I take very seriously, coming to a place with 5 national championships. How do you honor the past and build for the future? And then I bought this the year before I got fired, having an idea of how things might go. This is called Merry Christmas, You're Fired. Like it's by George Allen. When I did get fired, Charlie Cashley sent me a nice note. He goes, you need to go get this book called Merry Christmas, You're Fired. I said, got it. And I had bought it the year before. I was at a sports conference, and someone was speaking about it. And basically, it's like, hey, when this does happen to you, you're sitting around Christmas time, sit down and write out everything that you did right, everything you did wrong, everything you would change, and build your plan for your next place. And so very similar to what Pete Carroll did. He talks about after he got fired, the Jets and Patriots, writing out his philosophy. So this is one that keeps me humble and also keeps me focused on, hey, I went through some good and some bad, all those lessons. Let's pay them forward and try to do a better job here.
I remember Spags telling me when before he linked back up with Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, that it was very cathartic for him to kind of go through of what he learned and what he failed at.
That's right. Yeah, I think when you go through something, like let's say you have success, everyone remembers the successful things. Let's say you don't have success, but there were all kinds of things along the way that were both good and both bad. And so to me, like I believe in debriefing after everything. After the game last week, we went 1-0, we won. There were things we did to our standard. There was things that we didn't. And a lot of people just say like, okay, well, this is what we did. I think a great coach, and Mike Lombardi is the one who taught me this. He said Al Davis used to always tell him, the great ones figure out why they won or lost. Not, well, we won because we ran the ball well, but why did you run the ball? Well, because we attacked this and we practiced this. And so if that's the way you think about winning, when you lose, it's like, okay, we lost. Why? We couldn't stop the run. We couldn't do that. Well, why? Well, you know what? We didn't practice this. We didn't practice that. Okay. Like, let's just get real scientific. And like I said, just look under the hood. Then you just build a philosophy. You build a way of thinking that kind of carries you towards success.
You hand out game balls from games because one of the game balls has to go to the ball boy after what we saw. He got me fired up.
Stubbs. I mean, okay. This guy, we have the greatest student equipment managers of all time at the University of Nebraska. I'm thinking they're from like all different parts of Nebraska. He's a lefty, he's a quarterback, he's tough. There was 2 years ago, we didn't have enough guys for practice. A couple of the guys were like running routes in individual, and they got hit, knocked down, get back up. You know, Noah went from equipment manager, now he's working for us in coaching. So like they love football. That was pure passion. I didn't love the, that's not, those things aren't really my thing.
Right.
I didn't see it till afterwards on Instagram, but that's what it means to be a Husker, man. Like we're all in. Like every single person in this building is trying to win. When we caught that touchdown, the passion, the energy, the joy, that was him. That was coming out. So I don't even know if he'll be at practice today. He's a media star now, apparently. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right. One last important subject we're going to talk about. The name of the pod. Do we now change it to Rhule's House? Because I love when Pat McAfee, whose house? Rhule's house.
As an old Run DMC fan, I was so excited. We'll call it whatever people want to call it. How about that? You name it. But I love Pat McAfee.
He's the best.
He's energy, passion. I first met him. They came to college game day at Baylor, and this guy jumps into the river.
Yeah,
the Brazos River. I'm like, oh my goodness. So like that brings out the best in you. And so over the years, I see him in different places, and I always, if he asked me to go on, I always go on. So when he asked me, hey, would you want to, come on weekly? I was so excited because. Let's be honest, ESPN, I love ESPN. I'm a huge fan. Kevin Nagani's my boy, Herb Street. I love these guys, Pat. But, they cover the SEC, and we're in the Big Ten, and I want some Big Ten love on ESPN. So the chance to be on there was unbelievable. And I love the guys on his show, Darius Butler, AQC, all those guys. They're just awesome. So we got home for like 5 o'clock from the game. And at 8:15, I wake up to a FaceTime from Pat. You know how you wake up and you're tired, you don't act like you're tired, you're like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, hey, can you do 11:15 your time? I was like, yeah, no problem. My wife's like, what in the world? But so hey, whose house? Rhule's house. Let's do it. I'm all in.
It's going to be great, man. Looking forward to it each week. It's the best.
Well, that's the end of the show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And remember to follow us on social @House Rules. Till next time.